Welcome back to the show. Yesterday I had a chance to catch up with Jerry, and we taped that conversation. So we're going to share that with you now. But because it's pre-recorded, we won't be able to take your questions during this segment. So if you have some, save them for our expert later in the episode. Here's that conversation now. With us now is former Green Beret Jerry Cortinas. Jerry, we want to thank you for being a part of the show today, and welcome to In Their Boots.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's definitely an honor to be on your show and see myself and see other veterans and other troop members out there.
Yeah, for sure. I guess to get right on into things, Jerry, serving as a Green Beret, that's a notch above most any. So can you talk about what it takes to achieve status as a Green Beret and what's expected of you at that level?
Wow. Well, it's definitely something that takes it's definitely a gut checker type of a position in the Army. The way I could honestly explain it would be something that takes a lot of tenacity, a lot of drive, a lot of heart. Because I mean, there's times that you tell yourself, I don't really need to be doing this, and I could just go home and do my regular U.S. Army job. I don't need to put myself or my body through this type of torture and pain. But I mean, it's well worth it. I mean, it was well worth it for myself, and I loved it. And it's just, but I mean, that again, doing what I was doing, it was a lot of pain and suffering because of the type of requirements that certain job requires you to do, but it was definitely well worth it, and it's good. It was good.
Jerry, I know from my time in the Marine Corps, they kind of pride themselves on doing things the hard way as well, and from that, you tend to forge some tremendous bonds, and there's a sense of community and camaraderie. Can you talk about the community and the sense of camaraderie that you felt inside the Green Berets? It's
kind of, well, I mean, to me it's easy to explain. I mean, it's I would definitely call the camaraderie the same thing as brothers. I mean, being that I was on I guess infantry, same thing. There was no females in my company or anything like that, or in my job. So every team that I operated with I considered just like my brothers, my blood brothers, and and honestly, I mean, I talked to them more than I talked to my physical brother, and family, because I considered them closer to me than my actual blood family, which is kind of weird, but it is what it is.
Yeah. So that with that sense of family and belonging there, to now no longer be a Green Beret, can you talk about that and how that hits you?
Well, it hits me pretty. I mean, it's pretty rough because I mean, it's you're detaching yourself, and I don't know. I mean, I guess I could kind of explain that as kind of like a divorce. You're divorcing your loved one. I mean, it's kind of sick or weird in a way, but I mean, that would definitely be the best way I could explain it. You're leaving your friends that you've been working with for 9-10 years or whatnot, and that that you wake up every day, throughout the whole week for 365 days a year, that you see every day, that you talk to every day, and all of a sudden, after so many years that you work with them, you just detach and you're trying to, go on with your life now, readjust to the civilian life, and it hurts. It's different. It's weird.
It seems definitely like a really rough break. Can you talk about, from your time in the Green Berets, the bonds that you forged, and the training that you endured there, and the character traits that came from that? Can you talk about things that you learned in the Green Berets that you now see applying to the civilian side of things?
Well, uh, the main thing that I got out of most of the training that I did there was a lot of planning, the way I plan things, and how I relate that to how I work, with how I do things now in civilian sector. Is I organize my things and or whatever I'm going to be working with or working at. I organize my things and mission planning is what I do, and so that way I can execute what I need to do. And another thing is aside that, I mean, I learned a lot, in different schools that I went to. I learned a lot about myself and how far I could push myself, and to just to see, now that I'm in the civilian world, it just goes to show goes to show how weak the civilians are. I mean, they're just standing in line, how impatient they are. How frustrated they get. Just carrying groceries, or how lazy they are, and all that. It's just ridiculous.
Well, it sounds like you're not giving them any slack then, Jerry. That's good. Is it any more difficult living with your injury now, since the time that our crew last saw you there in Brownsville?
No, it's not. I mean, it's actually a little bit better. I mean, it's a little bit better or the same. Um, I've always kept a positive head about it. Me and my wife, we've always had a positive head about my injury. And then people were kind of, thought we were morbid about the fact that we were joking, and even after the incident, and even after I was still in the hospital and going through rehab, they thought I'd be kind of depressed and stuff. And I'm not going to say that I wasn't. Afterwards, I didn't go through my depression here and there and all this and that, but I try to keep a positive head about the situation, because if not, then I'm trying to stay in control of the situation. I'm not letting the situation take control of me.
Good. Jerry, we want to thank you for being a part of the show today, and we look forward to next week when we get to hear the second half of your story.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being a part of the show today. And be sure to join us next week when we have a live interview via webcam with Jerry and his wife, Selena. After the break, we'll be talking with this week's expert about what it means to be a wounded warrior. So if you've got your questions, get them ready and send them our way. We'll be answering them just after the break.
Bastogne, Okinawa, Incheon, Da Nang, Desert Storm, Baghdad. Stare at photos like these and I think about the men and women who never made it back and wonder why I did. Some vets wonder who was luckier. If you have days like that and they turn into weeks and months, there's something you need to do before they turn into years or worse. Call the National Veterans Foundation. There's always a vet by the phone to advise you on VA issues, help out with drug and alcohol problems, or just listen and really understand. I'm Dan Lauria. I was proud to serve my country during Vietnam, and now I'm proud to serve the National Veterans Foundation. We've been around for over 20 years. Since wars don't seem to be going away anytime soon, neither will we. You can count on it.
War happens, and we must be prepared. They are fought on different soils, and for very different reasons. Each generation has and must push through their own. Through the generations, the same loyal breed has served for what was right. So come and join your brothers and sisters.
Veterans, log on and find your local posts today.